Thank you, Speaker. I rise on this matter of public importance submitted by the member for Kew, the Leader of the Opposition, and I want to go through it. That this House condemns the Allan Labor Government for their failure to 1. Ease the cost of living for Victorians, 2. To keep communities safe, 3. To strengthen Victoria's healthcare system, and 4. To enable more Victorians to own their own homes. I join with the member for Kew and my colleagues in condemning the Allan Labor Government for its failures across these 4 areas. We've had nearly 12 years by the next election of a Labor government. We've had nearly 23 out of the last 27 years of a Labor government. We're now in a situation where debt is approaching $194 billion. That means that taxpayer-funded interest at the moment is $21 million every single day, soon to be $28 million and more of interest payments every single day. That is funding that could be spent to tackle our housing and homelessness crisis, on rebuilding schools like Mount Eliza Secondary College, which is 50 years old in its facilities, in fixing our ambulance ramping crisis, in filling our police shortage with a gap of 2,000 police who could be there proactively assisting to tackle our crime crisis. At the same time, because of the debt levels that Labor has got us under, we have seen both cuts. We've seen cuts to public education and much more. We've also seen the highest taxes in the country. Indeed, 62 new or increased taxes under this Labor government. And these taxes are meaning that people are fleeing the state and they're not invested in the state, whether it comes to small business, housing and much more. Victorians are indeed feeling the pain every single day. It's costing them more to live, more to drive, more to own a home, and they're getting less in return. Victorians know that this state is headed in the wrong direction, and Labor is no longer in touch with their priorities. This government's incompetence has led to record debt, as I note, record crime, a broken healthcare system, a housing affordability nightmare, public school cuts, and a cost of living crisis, including, as I've mentioned, growing homelessness. On homelessness, we have a situation where more than 65,000 Victorians are on the public housing wait list, and we have more than 30,000 on the priority wait list. In terms of people living rough as a form of homelessness, the Mornington Peninsula has the most out of any electorate in the whole state. Indeed, I've been helping many constituents who are struggling at the moment to get into public housing, to get into crisis accommodation and more. One gent at the moment I've been helping for the last 5 weeks, he's been living rough. He was at one built-up area and was moved on in the last week. He's now living rough in a tent at the foreshore. He is finally now on the priority waiting list, but how long will he have to wait to get housing under this government? Indeed, I had to put a call out myself for a tent for this gentleman because he cannot even get a tent from this government. This is a government that is not supplying the basic needs for Victorians. In that situation as well, unfortunately, he's been there with his dog, which he's had that dog since it was 7 months old, and unfortunately that dog has passed away in the last couple of days. These are the sort of people and real-life stories that this state Labor government need to help. And I note the member for Narrowcan here is with me. He's probably actually done more in his area before he was a member of parliament for people facing homelessness, facing family violence issues than has this state government. This is a state government that is failing in so many different areas. And if they were managing the debt crisis properly, they would actually have more to spend on tackling this housing and homelessness crisis and much more. So Victorians know this Labor government have got it wrong. They are feeling it every single day, every time they receive a bill and every time they go to the shops. Indeed, if these failures weren't enough, the Labor government also is refusing to work in a bipartisan spirit to fix the problems. This Labor government refused recently our opposition leaders' calls to work in a bipartisan manner to tackle the debt crisis. Even this week as well, they refused and blocked the opposition's coercive control bill, a vital reform to protect people from family violence in the form of coercive control, simply because it wasn't their idea. And they have a history of this. For example, in the Denya bill, on bail laws, on machete laws, these were all bills that we brought that were blocked by Labor, that Labor ended up adopting in one form or another a number of months later, only because it wasn't their idea to start with. This is a government that would rather play politics than save lives. On cost of living, we have a situation where rents and housing costs are going up and up and up. One reason for that is land and property taxes, which keep on increasing under this government. More land taxes means that these costs are being passed through in rent costs. It also means that rental providers are leaving the market, leaving less rental stock altogether. At the same time, we have had situations with electricity and many other household bills going up and up and up. These are not isolated failures. They are a predictable result of policy choices under this government that have left supply constrained and markets exposed. And it's also reflective again of the debt level, which is not helping to resolve the cost of living crisis for Victorians. And because of this debt level, this debt level has been influenced, of course, by waste as well under this government. We've seen waste with, say, the suburban rail loop, which is still TBC on the budget papers, which will add to this current debt level. We've seen major cost blowouts. For example, we have more than $50 billion of cost blowouts on major projects. We've seen the enormous waste on the Commonwealth Games that wasn't held in Victoria, and much more. And the consequences of this continue for locals such as Kerry Beard, for example. She helps to operate the food bank local to community. And she has said there has never been more people come to her food bank. Not only extremely vulnerable people, but she's also seen tradies, families and older residents frequenting the food bank who might not have come in the past. So we need a government that will help to ease the cost of living and stimulate the economy to bring investment back and to ensure investment stays in Victoria. On keeping communities safe as well, we've had a government that has led to a situation where we have around a 2,000 police shortage. We have a government that weakened our bail laws and has been dragged to the table to try and re-strengthen them recently. We have a government that reduced consequences for offenders and now, again, belatedly, has been dragged to the table. We have a government that has put in place a situation where we have closed or we've had reduced reception hours at so many police stations across Victoria, including the Mornington Police Station, where they've had their hours reduced to 16 hours instead of 24 hours across a number of different days. We have youth crime at a record high and much more. People are afraid in their homes and a crime is being committed every 50 seconds in Victoria. And offending is becoming more and more violent. Frontline police are exhausted and they need assistance. They need assistance to increase the reception hours, to fill the 2,000 police shortage as soon as possible, to introduce things like Jack's Laws to actually properly take machetes off the streets instead of millions of dollars being spent on machete spins where people who actually are committing crimes are likely not actually dropping them off in the first place. We also need things like break bail, face jail. We need things like Restart. We need proper crime prevention and diversion through things like Youth Start. Lastly, Speaker, we also need to strengthen the healthcare system. I've had a local, Beverly, who wrote to me about the situation recently. She had to go out to a person who was struggling because the ambulance was not coming. The person was waiting for hours for an ambulance. She and her friends had to drive this person to the ambulance at Rosebud Hospital themselves. This person was lucky to survive, all because of this failing system under this government that is leading to ambulance ramping, 000 problems and much more. We need to invest the resources to tackle these issues. And lastly, the last point on this MPI I want to note is we need to enable more Victorians to own their home. We need to enable young people to invest in homes, such as by reducing stamp duty for first home buyers. We need to tackle the homelessness crisis and much more.